Connecticut fisherman pleads guilty to tax evasion. We'll get the whole story here. Dude's name is Brian Cobus of Durham, Connecticut. We'll get to the most recent press release here about this guy, but actually, this goes back to last year. This press release from last April. 7 New England fishermen charged with tax evasion. What did I say? And failing to file returns. Wow. 7 fishermen at once. Jeez, this must have been a whole fisherman sting. Let's kind of zoom in here. Each defendant allegedly did not report at least $900,000 in income each. Federal grand juries in Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston returned separate indictments charging 7 commercial fishermen with tax evasion and failing to file tax returns. According to the indictments, the commercial fishermen each worked for fishing companies operating primarily out of New Bedford, Massachusetts, or Port Judith, Rhode Island, and received substantial compensation. The companies allegedly paid the fishermen as independent contractors and documented that income by, among other things, filing Forms 1099 with the IRS that reported the funds paid to the fishermen. It is alleged that notwithstanding the receipt of this income and the 1099, each fisherman did not file individual tax returns or pay all the taxes owed on that income. For some dependents, they allegedly failed to file and or pay taxes for a decade or more. To conceal the source and disposition of their income, the fishermen allegedly cashed paychecks and then used the cash to fund their lifestyles. Now, these are 7 dudes at the same, 2 fishing companies, right? So, I'm guessing here, I'm kind of putting pieces together here, but I'm guessing how this started is, one heard this bright idea from his buddy. Hey, yeah, you cash the check. You don't deposit in a bank account. You just cash your checks, and then you just put the money on your mattress and spend it as you need it. IRS will never know. Well, that's why they have 1099s, dummy. I can't believe how stupid some of these people are. It's like you got to document a 1099 telling you how much you made during the year, and the IRS gets one too. Okay, cashing the checks and then you paying everything with cash isn't going to conceal anything. One of the defendants allegedly also used the name and social security number of another individual to conduct business as a further effort to hide income. Okay, great. Now they're into identity theft. In some instances, the fishermen allegedly filed false tax returns for certain years by either not reporting their fishing income or by reporting false business expense deductions to reduce the amount of taxes they owed. Each allegedly evaded tax on between $900,000 and $1.9 million in income. They name the 7 dudes. The one that pleaded guilty recently is Brian Cobus of Durham, Connecticut, who was charged with 5 counts of tax evasion for 2017 through 2021. So this was last April, okay, when he was indicted. And then recently, July 10, 2024, he pleaded guilty to tax evasion. Defendant evaded taxes of $1.4 million in fishing income between 2011 and 2021. He was a commercial fisherman. Brian Cobus. Right, so he was a commercial fisherman and deckhand for fishing companies in Massachusetts. That must be that New Bedford company. After each fishing trip, the companies paid him by check, despite receiving over $1.4 million in fishing income between 2011 through 2013 and 2017 through 21. Cobus did not file federal income tax returns or pay the taxes that he owed. And then here's that same thing. He concealed it by regularly cashing his paychecks, using the cash to fund his lifestyle, and totally caused a tax loss to the IRS of approximately $377,000. He is scheduled to be sentenced on October 16th and faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, along with a period of supervised release, restitution, and monetary penalties. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. IRS Criminal Investigation is investigating this case. Obviously, the U.S. attorney and an attorney from the Justice Department's tax division is prosecuting. So, folks, look, and you might think, oh, wow, he made like $1.4 million. Okay, let's break this down. Okay, though. He's like, I don't make $1.4 million. I can get out of the government side. This is for 11 years. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. That's 11 years there. Okay? On $1.4 million. So that's a little over $100,000 a year gross. Gross. That's not like making $100,000 on a W-2 job. I would imagine that these fishermen, because they're independent contractors, they have to pay for a lot of their own expenses, possibly their own travel, maybe even their own equipment, right? So, you know, on, let's say 110,000, right, gross per year. Dude might be, dude probably doing well for him, pretty good for himself, right? He might be clearing like maybe 70, right, or 80. I mean, as one should, right? I mean, fishermen work hard. Right? You see those guys on the boats out there away from their families for like 6 months at a time. You know, but don't look at this huge figure and say, oh, I don't make 1.4 million. The government's not going to care about me. Dude, this dude was probably clearing maybe 80 grand a year, right? Which is a good income, but nothing like, you know, top 1% or anything, right? And he's going to jail. He's going to go to federal prison, right? Because he didn't file his tax returns, folks. I mean, this is serious stuff. We are seeing more and more of these criminal prosecutions for, you know, what most folks would consider a very small business owner, an independent contractor. Okay, this wasn't somebody, you know, making millions of dollars a year not reporting the income, like the celebrity, you know, tax court cases that you read about, you know, in the big headlines, right? This is a dude who's an independent contractor trying to put food on the table for, you know, himself and his family, you know, maybe clearing, I'm just guessing 80, might be less, might be a little more, but nothing crazy. And, you know, he's going to end up in federal prison. I mean, he thought that he could stay under the radar, right? And maybe he did, right? I mean, matter of fact, he did for 10 years, over 10 years. Well, actually, from 2011 to 2023, he was charged, I mean, probably like 12 years, right? But eventually the IRS caught up to him. He's going to federal prison. If you're in this situation, folks, you got to get right with the IRS. Okay, there's no way about it. Okay, this dude, we have clients. They're getting 1099s, you know, truck drivers. I think we have had a fisherman, right? But especially truck drivers, you know, contractors, salespeople. You know, these folks are getting big 1099s, and they haven't filed their returns in a while. And they might have gotten away with it, right? Maybe even for over a decade. But folks, that's not a gamble you want to take. Okay, maybe you're like, oh, if they catch me, I can pay the penalties. No big deal. I've saved so much on taxes over the year. Okay, but what about your life? What about your time? Right? 5 years in federal prison. I mean, that's the maximum sentence, but, you know, people routinely get sentenced to prison for this kind of stuff. You really want to play with that? Yeah, you really want to take that risk, play that game? It's generally the IRS's policy where if someone hasn't been filing their tax returns and they come clean with the IRS before the IRS reaches out to them, right, and starts trying to catch them, that they'll just accept it, say, okay, you came clean, now let's move forward. Get back on the tax system, file your returns, pay your taxes, etc. If you're in this situation and this story about this fisherman's kind of got you shaking your boots, I want you to do something. I want you to call us at Choice Tax Relief, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829 to schedule your free consultation. Or you can fill out the form on our website, choicetaxrelief.com, and we will reach out to you. I have some other videos here on the left-hand side of the screen pertaining to what to do if you've gotten behind on your required tax return filing requirements. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.